What is going on, YouTube? Andrew Miller from Hook'emHeadlines.com coming back at y'all today with one more video to recap the BYU game before we get to our overreactions video on Monday. But wanted to do a video I haven't done in a few weeks, but wanted to talk about some of the key recruits, some of the key visitors that Texas had at DKR this weekend for the BYU game. Some recruits that came away impressed, some of the post-game reactions from the visitors, things like that. Texas had a good group of visitors in, a lot of guys, a lot of blue chips from the 2025 and 2026 recruiting classes. Got some post-game recruit reactions in, some reports, and then just, social media activity, things like that to go off of. And again, want to talk about some of the key visiting recruits that Texas impressed with their 35-6 win over the BYU Cougars this weekend. Texas looked good behind first-time starting quarterback Malik Murphy. After a couple of early turnovers. I think Texas really controlled the game. Even in the first quarter with those early turnovers, BYU's offense couldn't do much to move the ball. Texas played a really complete game, and I think that played a big role in a lot of these different recruits coming away impressed, along with the atmosphere. Texas had another good crowd at DKR on Saturday. So let's go and get into it. As always, I do my article on the site if Texas gets a big home or even neutral site win. I'll do my key recruits impressed by the win article. And starting off here, got a high 4-star 2025 edge rusher out of the Benjamin School in North Palm Beach, Florida, Amaree Williams. Williams is a guy that already has a lot of Power 5 offers, but he came to Texas this weekend. It was his first game day visit. Left Texas with an offer. Williams is a guy, again, that's got interest from pretty much every major Power 5 school, and a lot of them have already offered him. He's got offers from schools like Georgia, Alabama, Penn State, Florida State. Obviously, a lot of the big in-state schools for him in Miami as well have offered him, but he's a big, about 6'5", 240-pound edge rusher that Texas really likes among their out-of-state guys that they're targeting in the 2025 class. And, I think it was good to get Williams in for this visit while Texas can still make a big impression on him and before it really gets too late in this recruitment. Williams, he told Steve Wiltfong after the visit that, just the fan base was off the charts for Texas, and he enjoyed watching the Texas defense dominate the field. He had a lot of compliments for PK and Longhorns defense in this one. They held BYU to just 6 points, under 4.5 yards per play. To force 3 turnovers as well. Texas's defense looked very, very dominant again. And I think it's noteworthy that even though Williams did just get the Texas offer, he posted on social media on, I believe, yesterday evening. But he said that him and PK speak often, that they have a pre-existing relationship here. So, I think that Williams is going to be a name to monitor in the 2025 class. Texas had some other big edge rushers in this weekend, namely high 4-star and number 1 edge rusher recruit in Texas in the 2025 class in the 24/7 Sports Composite, Chad Woodfork. So, a lot of good edge rusher talent from the 2025 class on campus this weekend. Next up, I want to take a look at some of the 2025 wide receivers that were on campus. I believe the highest rated of the bunch was KJ Jordan, wide receiver 5-star, Andrew Marsh. I believe this was Marsh's first visit to Texas since he made the trip for the Wyoming game last month. And, Marsh has been a frequent visitor to Texas. He's got a good relationship with Chris Jackson. I pointed this out on the site before in previous videos, but, Chris Jackson made it an early priority of his to, get a good relationship, get open dialogue with Marsh in his camp. And, he's done well there. And, Marsh has Texas among his top schools at this point of his recruitment. It sounds like this was another successful visit for him. He was impressed by the atmosphere. There was an Orange Bloods report with a post-game reaction saying that he thinks the atmosphere is always the best for him each visit. I got to imagine that the Wyoming game, that was a really, really crazy atmosphere for a night game at DKR. This one obviously wasn't a night game this weekend, but Texas had a good crowd. It was an important game in Big 12 play, so definitely had a good atmosphere for this one. He also said that the fans are loud and they represent the program well. Like I said, this was a similar reaction that he had compared to what he said after the win over Wyoming in mid-September. The Next wide receiver I wanted to mention from the 2025 class that visited Texas this weekend is 4-star Jacorey Watson. He's one of the higher rated blue chip, one of the better wide receivers in state in the 2025 class. He's a blue chip out of Shadow Creek High School in Pearland. Watson, he's got interest from a lot of schools in the area. I believe he's got some A&M interest. LSU's really been pushing hard for him. So Texas is going to be in a battle here. But, I think that this one really made a big impression on Watson. He hasn't been to DKR a whole bunch, I don't think. I think a guy like Andrew Marsh definitely has visited Texas more often. But, again, Watson came away impressed from this one. He said after the game that he was really impressed with how Malik Murphy stepped in and just went crazy. He also liked how the Texas wide receivers complemented each other. I mentioned this in my post-game reaction yesterday, kind of breaking down the win over BYU, that, Malik Murphy, again, while his stats necessarily didn't blow anyone away, 170 passing yards, 16 to 25 on his passing. It was 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He was able to spread the ball around effectively to all the different weapons that Texas has in the receiving corps. I believe it was Jonathan Brooks, Jatavion Sanders, Xavier Worthy, and Adonai Mitchell all had at least 3 catches for over 25 yards. Adonai Mitchell led the group with 3 catches for 59 yards and 2 touchdowns, including a nice one on that 30-yard deep ball from Murphy for his first career touchdown pass. So, seeing the way that Texas was able to find a way to get Murphy involved, a good game plan, and get Texas 4 offensive touchdowns in this one. Again, a comfortable victory over BYU by 29 points. I think Watson likes to see that, and seeing these young quarterbacks for Texas, all these young guys have success, is obviously a good selling point for Texas. Watson did mention that Texas is one of the schools standing out to him. He's also got LSU, Ole Miss, Kansas, Texas, Oregon among some of his other top schools. Sounds like he'll cut down his list here in the next few months heading into the 2024 offseason. Texas should definitely be in that group. And then next up that I wanted to talk about among the key visiting recruits impressed by the win over BYU, 4-star 2025 Saraland quarterback commit KJ Lacey. I think it was significant to have KJ Lacey on campus this weekend. I mentioned this in my piece that I did for the recruit reactions today, that I don't think it was any coincidence that the Longhorns had all this wide receiver talent from the 2025 class on campus this weekend, while Lacey was making his first game day visit since he committed to Texas in early June. Lacey's still the only commitment that Texas has in the 2025 class. Sark and the Longhorn staff are being meticulous and really playing the patient long game with this recruiting cycle, just like they have the last couple of classes, and that has ultimately worked out well for them. You're seeing it work out well right now in the 2024 class, and again in 2025. I think, KJ Lacey, obviously a high 4-star guy, one of the top quarterback recruits out of state in the 2025 class. I think he's a great, I think he's a great recruiter that is going to be able to get a lot of skill talents in this class for the Longhorns. It seems like he really just had a lot of fun on this visit. I know that there was some speculation beforehand that the number 1 wide receiver recruit in the nation in the 25 class and Lacey's teammate at Saraland, Ryan Williams, an Alabama commit, was going to make this visit with Lacey. Don't believe that came to fruition, but again, still, it's big to get Lacey to campus as much as you can. Other teams are still recruiting Lacey hard. He's been to Alabama. He's been to Auburn for game day visits this fall. There's still going to be a lot of that in-state pressure on him, and he's just a really talented guy. And so, Texas, again, it's good for you to get him in, have these good experiences on campus. And, I think a lot of the early reads from this visit are very positive. Lacey posted on his Instagram story after the game, throwing the hook 'em hand sign up on an emoji on his IG story, showing with the scoreboard, 35-6 final score. He was just pretty involved in social media after this game. It seemed like he was pretty engaged. And so, like I said, it's good to have these guys on campus, these commitments. I think you get overlooked sometimes when, fans see, 8, 10, 12 commitments showing up for a game day visit, but having these guys locked in is really important. That's kind of the theme with the final name I wanted to mention, at least from the recruit reactions piece I did on the site today, and that's 4-star Orlando Jones defensive lineman, 2024 Texas commit DeAndre Robinson. Robinson had his second game day visit to Texas this fall for the BYU game this weekend. He's a guy that's been recruited by Florida really, really hard, and they're still trying to chip away at his commitment to Texas. And I know he had that abrupt visit to Florida for game day visiting Gainesville last month, and that created some uncertainty about the status of his commitment to Texas, but he's reaffirmed multiple times, I think in the last month, that he's going to be extremely difficult to flip from Texas, that he likes Texas, he likes his commitment, and he's pretty happy with it right now. Again, getting these sort of game day visits, especially when he's coming in out of state from Florida, having these good experiences is just huge for Texas. Robinson's always a guy that's very active and engaged on social media. He does a lot of game day vlogs, things like that, whether it's his visits or, just high school football, anything like that. He's pretty good at putting all that together. And the site, I posted the link if you want to check out that game day visit vlog he put together. Also, reposted something he put up on his IG story where he just said, "Let's do it," throwing up the hook 'em hand sign during his visit in the midst of the game yesterday. All in all, I think Texas is doing a good job of keeping Robinson locked in right now. Bo Davis and the Longhorns are still looking for some other defensive line targets, potentially to flip in the 2024 class. I know 3-star Baylor commit Alex Foster out of Greenville, Mississippi is someone that Texas is looking to get in for a visit for the Kansas State game next weekend. But again, Texas has, I think, a good trio of defensive line commits right now in the 24 class, and I don't think any of them are better fit for the SEC than DeAndre Robinson. So again, nice to hear the status there from him. And there's a few other names I wanted to mention among the guys that were in this weekend. One of them is talented 2026 running back out of Texas High and Texarkana, Tredarian Ball. I think one of the early names to watch among in-state running backs for Texas in the 25 class. Ball's got a good relationship early on with Tashard Choice. I don't quite know yet how Tashard Choice is going to be prioritizing the top running backs in the 26 class because Texas right now is still very focused on 2025. Getting guys like Jordan Davison, the 5-star out of Santa Ana Mater Dei in California, and then you also got 5-star Harlan Berry in Louisiana. And Texas got a few guys that they really like in the 25 class, but in 26, Tredarian Ball, I think, is going to be one of those names to watch. He's got, I think, like a little over 2 dozen offers right now. He's got OU, Florida State. He's got Penn State, TCU, Texas Tech, among many other schools in the Power 5. Texas actually has not officially offered him yet, but again, they're usually pretty meticulous with the running back recruiting, but he's still, again, a name to know. He said that it was a great game by Texas. I like the way that they were able to get the job done in a multitude of different ways. Texas still looked pretty good on the ground in this one. I think over 180 rushing yards as a team. Jonathan Brooks looked really, really good on the ground, nearing 100 yards, well over 100 total yards from scrimmage. He's within 100 yards of having his first career 1,000-yard rushing season. And so, Tredarian Ball, seeing the running back development that Texas has had on campus and the level that Tashard Choice and the Longhorns are recruiting running back talent at on the 40 acres recently is definitely a good selling point there. And again, it's just good to get these, 2026 guys, while the program is trending up right now. You got so much good things happening in the running back room to make a good impression on them. Another name I wanted to mention here, 2027 athlete out of Denton Guyer, Zane Rowe, a guy that's really one of the hottest names, I think, in the 27 class pretty early on in that cycle. He's got a multitude of offers already for a 2027 guy. He's already standing about 6'2" or 6'5", 225. But he's got Georgia, Nebraska, Texas, Oregon, Ole Miss, TCU, A&M, Texas Tech, Arkansas, Baylor. The list goes on, but it seems like Texas is one of the schools that's made a big impression on him. He's already taken multiple game day visits to Texas this fall. He said, "I think it's awesome to see Texas win and how the culture supports the team throughout the game." So that he will definitely be coming back soon. So definitely a reaction worth noting there. And then a few other ones just from some of the posts that I saw on social media coming out of the game yesterday. Tyler Thomas, big 2025 offensive lineman out of Dickinson in Texas. He's about 6'5", 315. He was, again, pretty active on social media. Said on Twitter or X that he had a great visit in Austin today. Posted a couple pictures and videos from his visit yesterday. He also said it was a good game. Said he was very excited, waiting all year to be able to visit Texas for a game day. Said it felt like home all over again. So, Tyler Thomas is a guy that Kyle Flood and the Longhorns really like in-state in the 25 class along the offensive line. So I think his visit is something that shouldn't be overlooked. And the last name I wanted to mention here, Bo Onu, 2025 athlete out of Hebron in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. He had a game day visit. I know he doesn't have an offer from Texas yet, but it looks like he's got communication established with Jeff Choate. He is someone that's gaining some steam in his recruitment here recently. He's got some offers from Big 12 teams and teams around Texas. He's got Oklahoma State, Kansas, Arizona, Texas Tech, Baylor, SMU, schools like that. And again, offer sheets starting to pick up here. I believe Texas, if they did offer him, would be looking at him as a defensive back. Again, about 6'1", 190-pound athlete. I think most teams have offered him on defense, but he said, he posted on Twitter or X yesterday, said he had a great visit, enjoyed the game at UT today, and so again, another name to watch, potential offer candidate here in the next couple of months. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. For some of the post-game recruit reactions. Like I said, there's some key guys in here that, Texas is recruiting pretty hard. You got guys like Amaree Williams, Andrew Marsh, Tredarian Ball potentially, even current commitments, KJ Lacey, Parker Livingstone was on campus this weekend, DeAndre Robinson. These are important guys, not only to keep locked in, but these other guys, again, like Marsh, like Watson, like Williams, that if you can make a big impression on these guys for the 25 class, that Texas could have something pretty good in store for that cycle, potentially another top 5 class in the nation. But anyway, for Andrew Miller at Hook'emHeadlines.com, that's pretty much it. Hook 'em.